Hello, my name is Allen Barton, and I am an assistant professor and extension specialist at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. I'm in the Department of Human Development and Family Studies. This video abstract is for a paper my colleagues and I recently published in Family Process. The title of this paper is Trajectories of Relationship and Individual Functioning Among Waitlisted Couples for an Online Relationship Intervention. So to start with, I want to share the two main takeaways from the study. So just to make sure, for those of you that don't make it all the way through the entire video, that you get these two main points. So first is that results from this study indicate, and somewhat in contrast to conclusions from other research, that there is a clear warrant for including control conditions in studies that look to examine the efficacy of interventions for distressed couples. Based on our findings, these control conditions are really important because they help to ensure that any observed improvements in relationship function that we see within a sample are actually attributable to the intervention itself rather than naturally occurring changes within these couples. So the second main takeaway, our results indicated that although distressed couples exhibited a slight mean improvement in relationship functioning, that overall they also tended to stay pretty distressed. And so suggests that distressed couples really on their own may not improve substantially, and that will certainly, there is a subset that demonstrates this theorized notion of a spontaneous remission of relationship distress. Most appear likely to probably benefit from some type of empirically supported program to realize greater gains and improvements in their relationship. So there you have it. Include control conditions in studies examining the efficacy of programs for help-seeking couples. And secondly, realize that on their own, distressed couples exhibit a lot of variability and heterogeneity, but any improvements that you see are probably going to be slight and not going to improve much absent of any intervention. Okay, so for those of you that are still watching and want some more details, I'll pass those along now. So in essence, this study really started to understand, in essence, in the absence of intervention or programming or therapy, does relationship distress continue to worsen, stabilize, or improve among help-seeking couples? Again, phrased differently, is it possible also that some couples' distress might remit even outside intervention? And as we outlined in the paper, the answers to those type of questions have really important implications, both conceptually as well as practically for the field. The study from this data that we published on was from a national sample of distressed help-seeking couples that were all assigned to the waitlist condition of an online intervention. Our final sample was about 221 couples or so, who all completed a total of 5 assessments spanning 6-month period while they were assigned to the waitlist control condition. So, and as one final thought for the field, so we find these general slight but mean improvements over time. It's also to know that these individuals were all actively seeking help for their relationship. And as such, these couples may be at a point in time where their relationship was more amenable to change. And so this raises an important question of whether, similar to child-focused interventions, there are particular, if you will, developmental windows in the course of committed relationships where interventions may be more or less needed and or more or less likely to induce change. This kind of builds on this also an idea that we see in prevention science of this just-in-time adaptive interventions that really can provide more tailored and time-sensitive information to individuals and couples. So this paper was a truly collaborative effort, and I want to make sure I acknowledge study co-authors Justin Lavner from the University of Georgia, Matt Haralenko from the University of Washington, and Brian Doss from the University of Miami in Florida. And with respect to funding, this research was supported by a grant from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Children and Families, that was awarded to Brian Doss. And if you would like any more information or discuss this paper in more detail, I'm happy to talk with that with you. You can feel free to send me an email. I can be reached at awbarton@illinois.edu. That's awbarton.illinois.edu. There we go. Thanks for watching, and let's go, Atlanta.